talking about what's been going on, where I've been, and then we're gonna do some light mods to the FJ. Talk about future fun stuff to come. So, started off, I just recently moved cross country, so there's been a lot going on, and there's a lot to come. We have all kinds of mess to deal with in the garage here. But as we get a little bit more organized with what is going to stay in the garage versus what's not going to stay in the garage, then we can start some fun garage setup videos. We're going to hang some sweet lights in here. We're going to add insulation, maybe an air conditioner. Otherwise, it's going to be like setting the garage up to do cool car stuff and go from there, man. But I got a couple things to do to the FJ, some cool little subtle mods. So let's get into it. First things first though, both of these cowl panels on the FJ are not put on right. At some point in time, this window's been changed. It's not OE Toyota glass. I don't know if anybody else can tell. It says right there. But you can see that these panel gaps are very not right. And this one's not loose per se, but like this one over here is actually loose. So I've got new clips to install this stuff correctly. So I'm gonna pop this apart, fix that up, and then we're gonna work on the stance a little bit. So jumping right into it, I know how to get these panels off, I think, but it is mentioned online that you can see some of the clips from the engine compartment. So let's pop the hood and see if we can't get a head start on what we need to do. So I can't really see much here, it's super bright. But if you look in here, well, you can't tell great. This piece needs to come off, and I can hold it up enough to see where the issues are and where they're not. So let me pop this apart real quick and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I managed to get it off pretty easy, but it was missing this one, and this one seems to be intact as well, but wasn't really doing anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all new clips in it on both sides, and hopefully that fixes that silly little problem that's been driving me nuts. All right, I've never dealt with this little kind of rubber boot before, so learn from my foes. I did actually just end up Googling it, so it wasn't that bad, but it just kind of pops and snaps on. That little larger radius there goes into what would be like a cavity inside of this thing. So this just pops off. Once that's off, this one should be pretty easy to get off too, because it has also got broken clips, but that's how that comes off. So you basically just need to get up in here and pull it. One trick that might help a lot, this is normally, you know, that diameter is, this is sticking out of the top of this. If you squirt a little WD-40 down in that crack and kind of shimmy this thing around and get it down in there, this will probably pop off really easy. I don't know that that's recommended, but in the future that might be how I handle it. I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, pop these other two clips off, which are the same as the other side. They come off pretty easy. They're just two little tabs. I actually push on the little tabs on both sides of them with this flathead here. Careful not to scratch plastic. I have plastic trim tools somewhere, but I'm not digging them out right now. So I got the second one off here. I'm gonna clean up around that hole, and you can see on this side that this one and this one both have broken tabs. This one, they're both completely broken off. That was not holding it down at all. In fact, this side, the only reason this panel here was probably tight was because the antenna was helping hold it in place. We're gonna get that all dialed in right though, so that's not a problem. Let's pop the new clips on. So this clip that almost has like a, it's not offset, that's how I'm going to describe it. This clip here that's not offset goes closer to the windshield, and it just snaps on pretty easy. Then the clip that does have an offset goes closer to the hood of the car, and the offset goes towards the center. And then we're going to put two of these clips on here. These only fit one way, and these clips are both the exact same. These go on here and here. And you can see this panel here is ready to go back on the car. All right, so now we've got new clips on both panels. I'm gonna wipe off some of the dirt and the contact surfaces there and where the Windows weather sealing touches it, and then we're gonna go snap these back in, and hopefully it looks proper and there's no weird gaps. Line everything up. Pop those two in. Both the fender clips. That one's on there nice and good now. And same scenario. Alright, this one doesn't hold itself down as tight, but you can see that it is also now connected correctly. And looking okay. And let's move on to something fun. The FJ stock has an okay stance. This one's lifted, and it's got bigger tires. With those two things in mind, it looks pretty good, but it's just kind of not got the stance that I like. So you can see if we get down here, the tires are just inset a little too much. So I went ahead and ordered 2-inch, which is a little bit bigger than the Spider Trax ones that everybody seems to run. But I ordered 2-inch wheel spacers. They are hub centric. So they are hub centric to the OE wheel here, as well as the OE bore on the inside. You can see there's a step. That's the step that makes it hub centric on both ends. These are 2-inch spacers, and the thread pitch is the same as the OE Toyota. So what you do is you use their nuts, which have a taper there and are designed to fit down in the bottom of their of the spacer. So these fit that, and then you use your stock lugs on these outside ones, because the stock lugs have the concentric, or you know, the sleeve, the shoulder bolt style. The OE Toyota ones are shoulder bolts. I'll show you later in a sec, that slip in through your wheel and also bury themselves into here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rotate my tires while I'm doing this. So I'm gonna do the front, passenger side, rear driver at the same time, and I'll rotate my wheels while installing these spacers. These spacers do come with Loctite, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it or not. I think if I just put them to the proper torque specs, that might be the smarter way to go, because Loctite might make me hate my life if I have to take these off, and I don't know that that's the right way to go about doing it. I think what I'll do is just use the proper torque spec, and then in about a couple weeks, or like a week or two, pop the wheels off and make sure everything's still just as tight as it was the day I installed them. Then we should be good to go, and we'll check out this new stance here in just a sec. Okay, so then lined up with the bolts, you can see nice and hub centric. So give them a quick hit with my little electric impact. It only does like maybe 60-ish foot-pounds, maybe not even quite that much. Toyota's torque specs for the wheels is 95. I'm at exactly 95. So go ahead and torque these guys in.
I'm ready to go. I'm gonna. Gotcha!
So, two thoughts. I didn't record it when I took my wheels off. Make sure you break your bolts free while your tire's on the ground. And then when doing spacers, you can't torque it with the wheel on. So, like, you're in a dilemma where you either need a friend to hold your brakes for you, or you can use something between your brake pedal and your driver's seat to hold your brakes. And it doesn't take a ton of clamping force to lock this up. So let me show you what I do there, and then I'll get these torqued to spec, and then we can do the back wheel as well. Back wheel, we won't have that problem because the back wheel is has the emergency brake holding it down. So that one we should be able to torque to spec without a major issue. but the front just got me. They're laughing at me. So see, I set the thing in the car already. So what I'll do is, in this case, I've got a piece of the shop vac. So I'm gonna bring my seat forward till this is roughly lined up, and I'm sure people that care more about their interior might cringe, but I'm not putting a ton of force on anything. And like I said, it doesn't take much force on the pedal to lock up the wheel. So like you can see, I'm not like deforming my seat in some egregious manner, but what that does is it allows me enough clamping force on these calipers right here to lock this rotor up for me to torque this to spec. So let's see if I'm creating enough force, or if I need to adjust my setup in there. See if we can get these torqued. Nice. So you definitely don't need to do this like this. I'm gonna do it in two passes, just because I want these to be really, really nice and evenly seated on here, so that I don't ever have any issues here. Go back through and double check them. Alright, so we are now torqued to spec. Alright, so we finished buttoning up the spacers at all four corners. Again, that's 2-inch spacers on stock pre-facelift wheels. All four corners. Let's check it out. I don't have any rubbing issues. Even when I've got opposite corners loaded up, you can see I got just a little bit of poke now, front and rear, but it's just past flush with the fenders. It makes for a nice aggressive look on stock wheels. So anyway guys, if you're enjoying this new FJ comment, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.